Sahara Desert is certainly eye-catching. This image taken from the International Space Station shows the Rishat structure, a geologic feature located in Mauritania, dubbed the Eye of Sahara for its rings. The diameter of the structure spans about 30 miles. From a historical perspective, the Eye of the Sahara has intrigued researchers due to its unique and captivating appearance. Its concentric rings and geological features have made it a subject of interest for scientists studying the Earth's geological history and processes. The formation provides valuable insights into the planet's geological evolution and the forces that have shaped its surface over millions of years. But it became an increasing focus of attention as one of the most secretive agencies in the world focused on this anomaly structure. In the 1970s, the CIA conducted a secret mission for research on anomalies of this structure. However, after more than a half-century of study, the agency claims that no anomaly was found on the ground and some of that stuff is still classified. This result, of course, did not please everyone. As such, a series of conspiracy theories were born. Some assumed the Riche structure is extraterrestrial in origin. Others cited a popular theory that it's the blast site of a huge explosion that reduced a mysterious civilization to the sand and rock. A few think this might be the lost city of Atlantis. A bunch of speculations have been made, but which is the most feasible and closest to the truth? Why does the CIA keep what it discovered secret? Does the agency find some terrible truth under the sand in the world's most extensive hot desert and try to hide it? But if so, what could they be hiding from us? Join us as we dig deep into the terrifying secrets hidden under hulking sand dunes in Sahara and explore the evidence that could finally bring it to light. As far as eyes can see, there is only sand, nothing but sand in the horizon. Without any sense of direction, you are literally lost in this enormous yellow kiln of burning sand and heat. The wind here is exceptionally hot, to the extent that breathing itself becomes challenging beyond comparison. In addition, the wind carries with it a fine dust of yellow sand that strains the respiratory process even more. At daytime, the temperature can reach beyond 50 degrees Celsius, and without protection or shield from the blistering sun, it becomes unbearable. At night, it is freezing cold, and the wind that, just a while ago, was blazing hot, suddenly turns into ice. This is Sahara. Ranked as the third largest desert after the cold deserts of Antarctica and the Arctic, Sahara covers an area of 9.4 million square kilometers, which is nearly one-third of the African continent and about the size of the US, including Alaska and Hawaii. This gigantic desert is spread out in 11 countries: Algeria, Chad, Egypt, Libya, Mali, Mauritania, Morocco, Niger, Western Sahara, Sudan, and Tunisia. The Red Sea surrounds the Sahara on the east, the Atlantic Ocean on the west, on the north, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Sahel, a semi-arid tropical savanna of Sudan, and the valley of River Niger of sub-Saharan Africa on the south. Sahara holds very versatile features of the land that has been shaped by wind over time, such as mountains, sand dunes, plateaus, barren stone plateaus, sand seas called ergs, sand and gravel-covered plains, basins, salt flats, dry valleys, and depressions. The mountain ranges, many of which are volcanic, get more rainfall and cooler temperature than the rest. The highest point in the Sahara is Mount Kusi, an extinct volcano in Chad at 3,415 meters, is a part of the Tibesti Range in northern Chad. The deepest point in the Sahara is the Qattara Depression in Egypt at 133 meters below sea level. However, the Sahara Desert is most famous for the fields of the sand dune that you see in movies. The dunes cover only about 15% of the entire desert, but can reach up to 183 meters high. 183-meter-high sand dunes. How tall are they? Can you imagine? Well, look at this. This is London's first true skyscraper, Tower 42, the once tallest building in the United Kingdom, until superseded by One Canada Square at Canary Wharf in 1990. The structure is 183 meters tall, equal to the height of the sand dunes in the Sahara. Can you visualize a variety of skyscrapers appearing in the desert? What a massive sight! While camelback trips through the Sahara Desert mesmerize our mind, there is strange something located among hulking sand dunes that captured the attention of astronauts in space. This is the Richat structure, a formation of sedimentary rock that lies in the Sahara Desert of Mauritania. It was named the Eye of the Sahara because it can be viewed from space and is used to guide astronauts on the International Space Station. NASA once described the strange geographical feature itself as looking similar to an ammonite shell. This prominent circular feature in the Sahara Desert of Mauritania has attracted attention since the earliest space missions because it forms a conspicuous bull's eye in the otherwise rather featureless expanse of the desert. Described by some as looking like an outsized ammonite in the desert, the structure, which has a diameter of almost 30 miles, has become a landmark for shuttle crews. In addition, it's worth noting that the Eye of the Sahara hides a special story. There is a record of Earth's old magnetic field inside the rocks. We don't see Earth's magnetic field, but it protects against harmful sun rays. Some rocks within this structure are like permanent compasses. When they were forming, they aligned with Earth's magnetic field. Even after cooling, they continue pointing in that original direction. Scientists discovered times when Earth's north and south poles changed positions. Understanding the history of Earth's magnetic field helps us predict potential future changes. This is vital for our safety and gives us deeper insight into our planet's mysteries. This is interesting because we usually can't see the Earth's magnetic field, but it shields us from harmful sun rays. Beyond its intriguing rocks and magnetic tails, the Eye of the Sahara reveals stories of ancient civilizations. Discoveries there include tools and pottery, offering a glimpse into the lifestyles of people from thousands of years ago. Among the artifacts discovered are hand-shaped stone tools essential for hunting and crafting. Additionally, pottery fragments were unearthed, indicating how inhabitants stored food, prepared meals, and transported water. Perhaps the most striking discovery was the remnants of old housing foundations, suggesting that thriving communities once called this place home. These remnants vividly depict a time when the Sahara teemed with life and was a lush green landscape. Under the sun-baked sands of the Sahara Desert, a hidden world waits to be uncovered. Deep below the surface, there are lakes filled with water. These aren't just puddles, but vast underground water stores called aquifers. These big underground lakes are a hint that once upon a time, the Sahara was not as dry as it is now. It had more water and probably looked quite different. In these hidden water sources, scientists made an exciting find. There are tiny living things, known as microbes, swimming around. Even in such a dark, quiet place, far from sunlight, these tiny creatures have found a way to live and grow. It's like finding a secret city of tiny beings below the ground. Around 20,000 years old, ice was found under the hot sands of the Sahara. This shows the Sahara once had chilly temperatures, a complete contrast to its blazing heat today. This way, scientists can determine just how cold it was, if it rained often, or if snow covered the vast desert. This ancient ice acts as a history book, offering rich details about Earth's climate from ages ago. Beyond just climate details, this ice holds more mysteries. Some experts think tiny creatures might live inside, similar to life found in icy regions elsewhere on Earth, that fuels whispers of mysterious ancient civilizations that once thrived, leaving behind enigmatic structures that defy the passage of time. That's why everyone's favorite and most trusted government agency, the CIA, was also interested in the Richat structure. Through the Freedom of Information Act, Files from 1965 were released that outlined a plan for the Navy to conduct a scientific flyover of the Richat structure and 11 other sites around the world. In 1967, the CIA conducted a secret mission where aircraft were sent to about a dozen different locations in the world covertly to run surveillance in search of geomagnetic anomalies. Geomagnetic fields within the Earth shield us from the vacuum of space, and scientists wanted to check for any differences or phenomena. The Richat structure was one of the locations tested. Now, while the fact that a mission happened is declassified, the results of the mission were not released. This is what was written about the findings from the eye of the Sahara. The Richat structure has been studied by geologists for more than 30 years. A paper published in 1973 described it as one of Earth's strangest landforms. An elliptical dome-like structure with its center at 15 degrees in Mauritania's western Sahara desert region. And that's all! What could this mean? Does the CIA know the true origins of Richat's structure? What could they be hiding from us? We just have no idea. And this unusual structure has still puzzled researchers for many years. Scientists first believed that the Richat structure started as an impact crater from a meteorite, but the geological features did not confirm that theory. Another idea was that it is a dome that has eroded, exposing many layers of rock that have formed symmetrical rings around it, with the oldest ones on the outer edges of the structure. The third theory is the most extraordinary and might even be considered as insane. It is believed that the Eye of the Sahara was once an alien-built airfield. This theory was offered by ufologists. While this theory may seem bizarre to some, it is not as bizarre as the actions of the CIA regarding the research of the Richat structure. But recently, scholars have offered that the Richat structure is about 100 million years old and is the result of volcanic activity. They hypothesize that a huge cavern filled with magma formed and caused the surface of the Earth to bulge upward into a dome. They think that the limestone was hydrothermally altered and the structure got weak and collapsed. It is believed that the surface, through thousands of years of erosion, formed the rings and valleys. In the dome, molten rock is thought to have formed the breccia massif, a rock that is composed of smaller rocks fused together. Yet another theory on the Richat structure is that the supercontinent, Pangaea, broke apart, allowing the Atlantic Ocean to flow in while magma below the surface pushed up from Earth's mantle, forming a circular rocky dome enclosed in layers of sandstone. But its origins are still a source of much debate. One prevailing thought is that the Eye of the Sahara is actually the mythical lost city of Atlantis. Grecian philosopher Plato wrote about the lost city of Atlantis in his texts Critias and Timaeus around 360 BC. He told readers about this grand city that was destroyed 11,600 years ago. According to Plato, Atlantis was an island run by powerful kings and also ruled other nearby islands. It was supposedly a heavily guarded city made of rings of land and water with bridges connecting them together. Greek mythology says that Poseidon, the god of the sea, happened upon Atlantis and found it inhabited by the smartest and most beautiful people on Earth, including his true love, Cleito. In totally toxic fashion, Poseidon kept other suitors at bay by putting Cleito in a palace surrounded by moats. The couple had 5 sets of twins, all boys, and the first one, Atlas, would become the king of Atlantis and the namesake of the Atlantic Ocean. Atlantis was apparently the picture of opulence and status, where the wealthy lived, the technology was advanced, and the military was powerful. The inhabitants were rumored to be extraterrestrial, taller than humans, and able to live as long as 800 years. The people of Atlantis were believed to have the power to change the weather and create volcanic eruptions, leading to a claim that they were part human, part god. Per the legend, Atlantis was corrupt and became overcome with greed and immorality. As punishment, the gods sent fire and earthquakes to destroy it, causing the city to sink into the sea. There are many reasons people believe that the Rishate structure is the lost city of Atlantis. From the size, time frame, the location, and the geological characteristics, the theory seems to align. The time frame lines up. The destruction of Atlantis allegedly took place 11,600 years ago. This time frame is near Younger Dryas, a period in which large temperature fluctuations occurred, causing sea levels to rise and fall drastically, and included devastating fires. The descriptions match. When Plato spoke of Atlantis, he talked about the concentric rings of alternating channels of water and structures, a perfect description of the Rishate structure. The water has gone, but there are pockets of salt on the surface of the sand indicating the presence of ocean water in the past 12,000 years. The size of Atlantis corresponds with a section of Rishate. Atlantis was 14 miles across, which aligns with the center portion of Rishate. Believers say that, over time, the layers of rock have expanded, and there are natural geological changes that took place. The location of Atlantis shows it could be the Rishate structure. Another clue that the Rishate structure could be Atlantis is the location. It was in the shadow of mountains to the north, with rivers flowing through them and down into a big valley. This, of course, matches the topography of the Rishate structure. Both Rishate and Atlantis appear to have emptied into the ocean. Some claim that there is evidence that the Rishate structure, though now located in a dry, arid desert, once drained into the ocean. This suggests that it was once surrounded by water, as was Atlantis. There are also counter-arguments to the theory that Rishate is Atlantis. For every argument that the Rishate structure is the lost city of Atlantis, there is a rebuttal. The correlation with Younger Dryas is shot down because the timeline is off by 100 years. In addition, it happened over time, while Atlantis was taken in one fell swoop. There are also issues with the size comparison, the broken rings of the Rishate structure, the doubt that they could have been filled with water, and the idea that the 4.6 million-year-old Sahara Desert was covered in water only 12,000 years ago. Regardless, the story of Atlantis, as described by Plato, has captivated the imagination of people for centuries and has inspired countless works of literature and art. The recent discussion between Joe Rogan and Jimmy Corsetti on the possibility of Atlantis being located in the eye of the Sahara has once again reignited interest in this legendary lost city. Joe Rogan's mind was seemingly blown when guest Jimmy Corsetti described extensive evidence supporting the existence of Atlantis during episode of The Joe Rogan Experience. Corsetti is best known for his Bright Insight YouTube channel and associated social media accounts, where he investigates fascinating phenomena around the world that suggests the human species reached various forms of peak development prior to our current civilization, only to be nearly destroyed by cyclical cataclysms. Corsetti's most recent work focuses on a location in the Western Sahara, known colloquially as the Eye of the Sahara. The site is largely thought to be a geological structure, but growing evidence suggests it's something far, far more incredible. What's so spectacular about this is that it just so happens to match more than a dozen striking similarities to what Plato had described as the lost, ancient, capital city of Atlantis. Corsetti told Rogan in a clip shared on YouTube. Rogan was clearly stunned and openly compelled by the evidence presented by the researcher, even speaking about some of it himself. Despite massive amounts of proof, many establishment archaeologists refuse to do any work confirming or disproving data supporting precursory civilizations and the trend of cataclysms. Thus, the existence of Atlantis is still a mystery, and the ongoing search for evidence continues to captivate the imaginations of people around the world. Whether or not Atlantis ever truly existed, its legend remains an enduring part of human culture and mythology. The fascination with the story of Atlantis is a testament to its enduring appeal and the enduring human desire to uncover the mysteries of the past. While the search for the lost city may never be fully resolved. The discussion on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast has brought new attention and interest to the topic, and may inspire new discoveries and research in the future. Despite the lack of concrete evidence, the idea that Atlantis was a real city that existed in the distant past continues to captivate the imaginations of people around the world. The Atlantis story has inspired many novels, films, and TV shows, with some of the most notable examples being Jules Verne's Journey to the Center of the Earth, Edgar Allan Poe's The Narrative of Arthur Gordon Pym of Nantucket, and James Cameron's Avatar. In recent years, many researchers have tried to use advanced technology and new scientific methods to uncover the truth behind the Atlantis legend. Some have suggested that Atlantis was destroyed by a catastrophic natural disaster, such as a volcanic eruption or an earthquake. Others have proposed that Atlantis was a victim of climate change, with rising sea levels causing the city to be submerged. While the search for the lost city of Atlantis may never be fully resolved, the enduring fascination with the story continues to inspire new discoveries and research. Whether or not Atlantis ever truly existed, the legend of the city remains a testament to the enduring human desire to uncover the mysteries of the past and to explore the unknown. In conclusion, the discussion between Joe Rogan and Jimmy Corsetti on the possibility of Atlantis being located in the eye of the Sahara has reignited interest in this legendary lost city. While the existence of Atlantis is still a mystery, the ongoing search for evidence and new discoveries continue to captivate the imaginations of people around the world. The enduring fascination with the story of Atlantis is a testament to its enduring appeal and the enduring human desire to uncover the mysteries of the past. Back to Sahara. The world's hottest desert could be a bone-dry place, but it has not always been like this. On a number of occasions, the Sahara has been a green and pleasant land. Sometime between 11,000 and 5,000 years ago, after the last ice age ended, the Sahara Desert transformed. Green vegetation grew atop the sandy dunes, and increased rainfall turned arid caverns into lakes. About 9 million square kilometers of northern Africa turned green, drawing in animals such as hippos, antelopes, elephants, and aurochs, wild ancestors of domesticated cattle, who feasted on its thriving grasses and shrubs. Put simply, the Green Sahara would have been a true paradise, and for the humans that lived there, they'd have access to almost anything they ever wanted. For the people who lived in the Sahara 10,000 years ago, they would have settled along the shores of the many rivers and lakes that dotted the landscape. But did these communities form highly sophisticated societies? One example of such a civilization was the Garamantes. Based in Libya, they possessed advanced irrigation technology and built walled towns and fortresses. Although these later constructions took place during the Roman period, their technology probably originated from the Green Sahara period, where they would have been forced to develop new farming techniques. It's unlikely that the Green Sahara lasted long enough for real technological progress to be made, though. Krupelin, an archaeologist from Germany, went on an expedition to uncover the history of human occupation in the Sahara. In the words of Krupelin, after 7000 BC, human settlement became well established all over the eastern Sahara, fostering the development of cattle pastoralism. Retreating monsoon rains caused the onset of desiccation of the Egyptian Sahara at 5300 BC. Prehistoric populations were forced to the Nile Valley or ecological refugees and forced to exodus into the Sudanese Sahara, where rainfall and surface water were still sufficient. The return of full desert conditions all over Egypt at about 3500 BC coincided with the initial stages of pharaonic civilization in the Nile Valley. So no super-secret Saharan civilizations then? Well, we can't be sure because whatever monuments these societies left behind would have been swallowed by the sands of time. But we do know that the people living here were very advanced for their time. Evidence of animal husbandry and the rearing of cattle, goats, and sheep have been found in rock paintings indicating that dairy farming was widespread. The milk would be stored in pots and then cured into cream or yogurt, making it easier to digest for the lactose-intolerant inhabitants. Considering the time period and the fact that it predates crop farming, this is quite a major feat. Other types of rock art also show people diving into lakes, suggesting that water-based activities were important. In fact, one of the oldest boats in the world was discovered in the middle of the Sahara Desert and originated during this period. The Dufana canoe was between 8,500 to 8,000 years old and measured 8 meters. It's a remarkable find, hinting at a possible technological explosion that led to seafaring and trade. Other inventions, including pottery making, happened long before food production was even possible. The site at Kongduga where ceramics were made was found to be more than 7,000 years old. But this paradise is long gone. Today, many of these places are difficult to access as the desert has overtaken the once lush greenery. That begs the question, what caused the lush green oasis to turn into the dry, sand-covered wasteland it is today? As with most good questions, this one has more than one answer. In part, the change in the Sahara was natural. Each year, winds from the northeast sweep up hundreds of millions of tons of Saharan dust, depositing much of this sediment into the Atlantic Ocean, off the coast of West Africa. Layers of this dust, built up over hundreds of thousands of years, can serve as a geologic chronicle of North Africa's climate history. Layers thick with dust may indicate arid periods, whereas those containing less dust may signal wetter eras. Scientists at MIT have analyzed dust deposited off the coast of West Africa over the last 240,000 years, and found that the Sahara and North Africa in general has swung between wet and dry climates every 20,000 years. They say that this climatic pendulum is mainly driven by changes to the Earth's axis as the planet orbits the Sun, which in turn affect the distribution of sunlight between seasons. Every 20,000 years, the Earth swings from more sunlight in summer to less and back again. For North Africa, it is likely that when the Earth is tilted to receive maximum summer sunlight with each orbit around the Sun, this increased solar flux intensifies the region's monsoon activity, which in turn makes for a wetter, greener Sahara. When the planet's axis swings toward an angle that reduces the amount of incoming summer sunlight, monsoon activity weakens, producing a drier climate similar to what we see today. Our results suggest the story of North African climate is dominantly this 20,000-year beat, going back and forth between a green and dry Sahara, says David McGee, an associate professor in MIT's Department of Earth, Atmospheric and Planetary Sciences. We feel this is a useful time series to examine in order to understand the history of the Sahara Desert and what times could have been good for humans to settle the Sahara Desert and cross it to disperse out of Africa versus times that would be inhospitable like today. But as we said previously, this question has more than one answer. Some experts believe human activity may have caused the change. They found that as humans moved across the Sahara, plant life died out. One hypothesis is that early humans allowed goats and other livestock to overgraze in the Sahara. This led to less moisture in the area. It also caused erosion of topsoil, so plants couldn't grow. Human use of fire may have also added to the problem. Did people turn the green Sahara into a desert? Maybe. Experts say they need to do more research before they can say for sure. However, archaeologists have found that an ancient African civilization once turned part of the Sahara back into a green oasis, if only for a short time. Between 1 and 500 CE, the Garmonte built a large community in the Sahara Desert. They even used their advanced understanding of irrigation to grow crops. Experts found the remains of their buildings in 2011. Today, the Sahara Desert is still growing. Experts say it's at least 10% larger than it was a century ago. Researchers estimate that about 2/3 of the growth is due to natural changes, while the remaining growth may be caused by climate change. Will the Sahara ever be a green oasis again? It's certainly possible. However, it would take many years of human efforts as well as natural changes. What do you think it would be like to live in a green Sahara? What other deserts would you transform? A more lush green earth could be at your fingertips. As a quick note, can you believe that scientists have claimed that the Sahara Desert has been expanded to 10% till now? The reason for such change has been contributed by anthropological climate change as well as the natural climate cycle. There exists a mechanism known as Hadley circulation, due to which the air, due to its hot nature, rises at the equator and approaches the north to the desert, making it even worse and hotter. The seasonal change has an impact on the boundaries of the desert, which expand and contract as per the climatic conditions. Talking about the natural climatic cycle has a tremendous effect on the expansion of the Sahara Desert. It alone constitutes around 2/3 of the total expansion of the Sahara. There is a transition zone between Sahara and fertile savannas in the south called the Sahel. As the deserts expand, it affects the vegetation, human societies, and the ecosystem of the region. While man-made climatic changes account for 1/3 of the total, the emission of greenhouse gases has caused a notable difference in climate change, although it is not as significant as natural change. That's all the information that we have for you today. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed today's episode, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the bell so you never miss out on future episodes. And be sure to also tell us what you think about today's content. Everyone's support motivates us to continue delivering quality content and to always improve. As always, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.